While everyone was talking about Ford's downfall, they shocked the entire industry with a new $20,000 pickup truck, and it made every other truck obsolete. Here's how. Performance. Similar to the Maverick, the Ranchero will sport a unibody chassis, ensuring smooth handling around corners and in urban environments. However, it's primarily front-wheel drive, with no option for all-wheel drive. Plus, the Ranchero is set to be shorter than the Maverick, but thanks to its single-cab design, it won't compromise on practicality. This is a very intentional move by Ford because they aim to keep the Maverick relevant by focusing on its single-cab feature, while also letting the Ranchero stand out. We can't deny that the Ford Maverick dominated the whole market when it came out, because it focused on one thing and one thing only. We all love the Maverick for its uniqueness and astonishing efficiency. The Ranchero, despite having a different platform, will share the Maverick's powertrains. That means it'll have two engine options. The first one is the 2.5 hybrid, which is likely to be the more popular choice due to its lighter weight, promising better MPG figures compared to the Maverick. And the Maverick already has one of the best efficiencies. Imagine what the Ranchero will be capable of. This makes sense because if you think about it, the whole point of compact trucks is to offer a budget-friendly alternative to bigger and more expensive trucks like the F-150. So making it as efficient as possible is like adding a cherry on top. Ford knows the current compact truck market more than any other company. If we're being honest, when this comes out, they're clearly going to win because they know what to do and what not to do. But there is more to it than just that, so watch carefully. The second engine option is the 2.0 EcoBoost turbocharged inline-4, and unlike the first option, this one is tuned and intended for heavy use and more demanding times. It will be the perfect option for off-road and high-performance adventures. But Ford knows that they have to offer more unique options than the Maverick because they don't want to just compete with their own market share. So the Ranchero is expected to come with a smaller 4-cylinder engine alongside the Maverick powertrains. This option will likely be available for the basic trim levels, mainly suitable for urban driving. While the Ranchero shares the same concept as the Maverick, it's positioned as a more compact alternative. Ford recognized that directly competing with the Maverick's practicality wouldn't be wise. So instead, they're offering a smaller vehicle that still delivers similar levels of functionality. But that's not all, you see. The Ranchero is actually targeted at a different target market, and that is one of the main determining factors for any product. One of the major differences is the Ranchero's lower ground clearance and softer suspension compared to the Mavericks. The Ranchero will have ground clearance similar to regular cars, not SUVs. This means it'll handle bends better with a lower center of gravity. These adjustments aim to address common issues and complaints about the Maverick's ride quality. And since it's closer to the ground, it won't bounce as much over potholes thanks to the softer suspension. Plus, less body roll makes for a smoother ride on highways. But if you want a lifted version, the Dreamer Ranchero will do, with increased ride height and firmer suspension. It might not be as spacious as the Maverick or have the comfiest seats, but it'll be a nice ride overall. If I'm being honest, this is a very unique approach and a new concept for the compact truck market. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this will be the perfect solution for the market. In fact, there are two main issues that the Ranchero already has. Let me explain. The new plan. The first one is very obvious, and that is the fact that the Maverick was really a disaster as much as it was a success. Because when it came out, demand was hitting the highest numbers we've seen in decades, and Ford simply couldn't keep up. Ford couldn't provide what they promised, and due to the huge number of people just waiting for that Maverick, Ford started putting out more Mavericks per day, and this is a good thing if they achieved it with the right approach. But Ford managed to produce more by cutting down costs on the production line, and this meant the Maverick was one of the most unreliable trucks that they offered. Who would want that? Their reputation has taken a massive hit since then, and on top of that, the recent issues with their EVs have catapulted their downfall. So the real question now is, how are they going to make the new Ranchero, and how will they market it without it being overshadowed by their recent issues? But if we're being honest, the Ranchero has one significant advantage over the Maverick, and that is character. In contrast to the generic, characterless feel of the Maverick, the Ranchero promises a more engaging driving experience as a compact city pickup truck, And if they decide to incorporate the nostalgic and amazing design features from the original Ranchero, the new model will undoubtedly be the best-looking compact truck on the market. This would be a massive hit for Ford because two of the most popular compact trucks available right now have the same design concept. Most so-called modern trucks feel like companies just copied and pasted their designs from a generic and industry-wide template. I mean, both the Maverick and the Santa Cruz look like an SUV with a cargo bed. The original Ranchero was one of the most memorable trucks ever made for one major reason: character. In my opinion, Ford will have to at least pay homage to their old legend. But let's get back to the second issue. How will they be producing this thing? Because the Maverick has had many reliability issues, like premature seat creasing and reliability concerns with the 2.5 engine. They've surfaced, dampening overall satisfaction with the vehicle. And if they want to use similar components without working around their production line, it is the destiny of the Ranchero to be strangled with the same issues. But if you think about it, Ford has years of experience with making trucks, and by splitting production between two models, Ford can focus on ironing out these quality control issues that have tarnished the Maverick's reputation. Like we said earlier, Ford is taking a massive reputation hit lately, and to think that they'll be having the same issues as they did with the Maverick, while the whole world is looking at them, is a bit pessimistic. In fact, they could be using the new Ranchero as a strategic move that not only alleviates the pressure on a single model, but also allows Ford to ramp up production of other vehicles simultaneously. This approach ensures Ford can cater to various market demands and potentially fill gaps left by competitors who may not be able to match the Maverick's popularity or address its shortcomings swiftly. And this is a huge thing that Ford has to think about, because almost every car manufacturer is trying to capitalize on their downfall. The popularity and demand the Maverick created were noticed by almost all the big car companies, like Toyota, Subaru, and the other Detroit Three. Ram and GM have already made their own compact trucks, and it's only a matter of time before they start selling in the US. Ford knows this, and it seems like they're also trying to capitalize on their own mistake. You see, most Maverick buyers won't mind switching to the Ranchero if it means they get what they want without waiting for a long time. And with the demand for small two-seater pickups, Ranchero is poised to achieve solid sales figures. Ford's move to diversify its pickup truck lineup will make it a bigger player in the market, boosting its appeal and increasing its dominance in the compact truck aftermarket and resale value of its models. So despite looking like a counterproductive thing to do, the Ranchero's launch is strategic and expected to solidify Ford's position as a top pickup truck maker. But that's enough talk about plans and strategies. Let's get to the real deal here. Price and competition. With the compact pickup truck market thriving, Ford must act quickly to sell a lot of Rancheros. Competitors are already revving up production. The most notable one is Toyota. They're working on the Scout, another classic truck being revived for the modern ages. And Toyota is known for their reliability, and we don't see any reason that the new Scout will be the exception, which is the exact opposite of the Maverick. But that is the real reason the compact truck market is the most unique and advantageous for us, the customers. If companies want to survive and sell trucks, they have to actually solve one or two major issues we have and capitalize on that. That is why each truck is very different. The new Ranchero is expected to cost less than the Maverick because it's smaller. While there's not as big a price gap between the Maverick and Ranchero, it still matters to many buyers. With a starting price of around $20,000, the Ranchero would be a perfect option for people who don't need extra seats and want a city-friendly truck that's still practical. Besides, lots of Maverick buyers just want a basic truck to haul stuff, so we expect the streets to be full of them soon. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments, and if you want to know more about their new Scout, Toyota's new flagship compact truck, then check out the video we already made on our channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.